Welcome back. I fucking love this beanbag, mate. I fucking love it. You know what happens, right, when you think that you're going to do something great and then suddenly you go to bed that night and then you have all this doubt in your head and you're wondering if you can do it and you're wondering if you're worth it and you're wondering if you can put up with the pain of actually proceeding with what you want to accomplish. You build yourself up, you tell yourself you're going to do great. Through the day, you have insane levels of confidence and conviction, and then by nightfall, you struggle to even wonder if you can get up the next morning. Self-doubt is a real big problem, and today I'm going to show you how to fix it. And I want to give you a little idea that will helpfully, I meant to say hopefully help you, but helpfully is a great term. It will hopefully help you remove self-doubt. And the thing is, I'm going to start with this non-binary caveat. You don't want to remove self-doubt. I doubt myself. You always want to doubt yourself a little bit because you never want to remove it because you don't just want to be confident. If all you have is confidence, right? I can't speak this morning. If all you have is confidence, then you're always going to just think you're the best and be really cocky. So I doubt myself, not on my ability to do things, but I doubt whether or not I'm good enough. And it's through that doubt that I try to be good. And it's through trying to be good that I can become confident. And so there's a saying, I don't know where the saying's from, but the father who thinks he's a good father is not a good father. What it means is if you're a father and you think you're great at being a father, then you stop trying to be a great father because you think you're good. And that means that it sucks you of actually trying, which means that you're not going to be good because if you're not trying, you're not good. So the first caveat to this is I'm going to show you how to remove doubt from your life, but I want you to know that you want to keep a little bit. Because that little bit, that's sort of like yin in the yang or yang in the yin, that little bit will continuously haunt you and make you wonder if you're good enough, which will actually make you try to be better, right? So if we remove doubt, then ironically we remove confidence in the long term because short-term lack of doubt means long-term lack of confidence because the doubt is actually the thing that gets you to try to do what you're trying to do in the first place. So caveat, right? But let's talk about how to actually remove self-doubt and completely eradicate it from your existence so that you can just have a wonderful, happy time. My name's Charlie Morgan and I have successfully removed doubt from my life. I've built 2 companies, a marketing agency which I've scaled to 7 figures and are currently selling, and a coaching business that I've scaled to multi-7 figures and still run. I don't really doubt myself anymore. Like I said, I still try to nurture up some doubt because I'm always afraid that I'm not good enough. With these videos, for example, if I feel like I'm a great YouTube content maker, then I'll stop trying to become better, right? And confidence saps action, which eventually saps confidence. So it's a negative feedback loop. So we need to keep a bit. But here's the secret to removing self-doubt. So you have you and you have your goal, right? To accomplish your goal, you have to kind of become someone else. If you currently doubt yourself and your ability to actually accomplish what you want to accomplish, then you are correct. You cannot do it. Now, that might sound discouraging, and you might be wondering, what the fuck are you talking about? You're not supposed to tell me that. You're supposed to be optimistic. The truth is that you, in your current state, with who you currently are, cannot accomplish what you want to accomplish, because if you wanted to accomplish it, you would have already accomplished it. The secret to understanding this and the secret to realizing this is to realize what Jung meant in psychology when he had this idea of self-growth. Now, you might be offended and you might get upset by that, but trust me, if you listen to what I have to say, it will make sense. So you have your current self and you have your goal, and the problem is that your goal requires you to become someone else, because in you as your current state, as your current persona, as your current character, you don't have the ability to do the thing, which is why you doubt yourself, right? Because doubt usually tells the truth. It's kind of you can't do this, can you? So what you need to do is you kill the doubt by building a new version of yourself and growing into it. So you want to look at your goal, and then you want to look at yourself, and you want to look at honestly and be well, to achieve this goal, I need to do this, 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 and this. Me in my current state, I cannot do this, 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 and this. So if I learn to do this, 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 and this, then I will have my goal. Because you don't chase your goal, right? You don't try to accomplish your goal. You try to accomplish a character and a sense of self that can easily accomplish the goal, and it's through chasing a better version of yourself, the goal is accomplished. Business is basically just a great vehicle for personal development, right? It's the most beautiful thing. It's when you grow yourself, your business grows. So you don't focus on your business growth, you focus on your self-growth, and it's through the self-growth that business grows. So my point here is you can doubt your current self, right? Your current version of yourself. But if you build and you design a version of you that can easily, without a doubt, accomplish what you want to accomplish, then you're not going to have doubt in that person. So you kind of want to look at your current self and then separate that out into an evolving self, right? And that's a version of you that has everything required to achieve the goal. So let's say there's a few things. The goal obviously is going to demand a lot of you, but let's say the goal requires you to become good at sales. It requires you to be consistent, and it requires you to, I don't know, like think clearly and be healthy. Let's say right now you're awful at sales, you're really inconsistent, and you're really unhealthy, right? And you can't think clearly. Well, obviously, if you've got those three traits, the goal won't happen, because the goal sets the precedent for what you need to be. And if you're not that, then you won't have the goal. So what you need to do, instead of trying to achieve the goal, is you need to try to achieve a good sales ability, consistency in your life, and healthiness and good thinking, right? And so what you need to do is you need to separate it out, and on paper, literally on paper, just write out what you need to have, and then work on developing yourself into that, right? And then it's through that, because you're not going to doubt this like evolving self. So if you build like yourself on paper, right, and who you need to become, and you actually work every day on becoming that person, and you think that is what I'm evolving into, because humans just, we either grow or we just stagnate and die. I prefer the former. Both are painful, but the former is obviously more rewarding. You're not going to doubt the future self of you that you've developed, right, to achieve the goal. And so if you're currently really struggling with self-doubt and you constantly wonder if you can do it, the answer is no, you can't do it, but I'll tell you who can, and that's a future version of you that you can build and grow into. And so if you want to achieve your goal, right, you become he who can or she who can. So you don't try to go after the goal, you go after the person that can achieve the goal, which is a version of you that's way more developed and way more capable and able to grow. And so the way I combat self-doubt, the way I did when I was starting, is I realized this because I'd read a lot of Jung and Freud, and I understood that like everyone's current sense of how the world works in terms of their self-image is just completely fucked and it's completely wrong, which is a story for another day. But you need to realize that you can change and you can grow and you can become more, right? And so you should never doubt your ability to become the person you want to become, because it's literally human nature. Like, you can do it, anyone can. It's just like human beings are way more than capable of doing things like that. And so you shouldn't doubt your ability to change into the person that can. But, you know, it is kind of just like, if you've got your situation right now and your current sense of self and your current character, and you've got your goal, and if what your goal wants and what you have are misaligned, then there's nothing that you can do to achieve the goal, because you're not the person. So you build out a version of yourself that's like way better and way more developed, that can easily achieve the goal. And then every day you work on becoming that person, and you won't doubt yourself through that process, because you're not, if you look at like, so say you looked at me, for example, right? And this is just, I'm using an example here. It's not like an ego narcissism thing, but if you looked at me, right, and you looked at my track record and the couple of companies I built, and let's say your goal is 10 grand a month, and you really doubt your ability to make 10 grand a month, right? Then you'll doubt yourself. But if you look at someone like me, right, who hasn't made less than 10 grand a month in like 5 years, would you doubt my ability to make 10 grand a month? The answer is no. The reason behind that is because I've got a different set of traits and variables in my character and self than you have, right? And so you might doubt yourself, but you wouldn't necessarily doubt me. So what you want to do is you want to look at that potential person that could accomplish what you want to accomplish, look at the traits and variables that they have in their character and how they behave, and then grow into that. And the biggest problem that people have is they then think, well, that's not me, or that's not who I am, or I'm going to stick to my roots, or I'm not being true to myself. Fuck that, right? Your goal is your priority, right? And your current ego should not take precedent over a better future, right? So whenever I tell people this and give people this advice, a lot of them struggle with it, because as children, we grow up and we're told to be true to ourselves. We're told to stick to our roots. We're told to, not lie to ourselves, and we're told to be ourselves and love ourselves. And the problem with that is your current self, your current self, right, isn't capable of achieving what you want to achieve. So you can either sacrifice your goal or you can sacrifice your ego. And I'll tell you what, if you sacrifice your ego and you develop something that's more than you, it's way more rewarding than holding on to your ego. And that's the truth. You can sacrifice the future you want, or you can sacrifice your ego. Now, I would take the ego every single time. And every income level that I've been able to bypass, like 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month, 50 grand a month, 100 grand a month, 200 grand a month, every time I've done that, it requires me to sacrifice my ego. Because the position I'm in right now, where I've got a coaching business that makes multi-seven figures, and then a marketing agency that I'm selling, like, I have a current static, well, it's not static, but I have a sense of self, right? I've got a self-image. If I want to make 8 figures in my company, I have to become someone else. So I doubt my ability to make 8 figures. but I don't doubt the ability of the person I'm becoming to do it, right? You see how this works now? So that's an actual personal example that I'm using. Like, I know that me in my current state, with my current sense of self, my current character, my current traits, my current knowledge, I don't stand a fucking chance of being at 8 figures. Because if I did, then I'd be way closer down the line towards it, right? Be making like 800 grand, 900 grand a month. So what I've done is I've had to design a version of myself that can easily achieve 8 figures, easily, without a problem, right? Someone who is insanely intelligent, with impeccable critical thinking ability, with the best hiring like skills and the best management skills in the world, because 7 to 8 figures is more about management than anything. And I've sort of looked at people making 8 figures and beyond, and I've just think, okay, well, they are doing this, this, and this, and this, and the goal requires this, 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 and this, so that's what I need to develop. So I'm now sacrificing my current sense of self. I'm killing my current sense, my current ego off, my current sense of self, to evolve and grow into he who can. And my only priority in life throughout the last 6 years, 5 years of me being in business has been it's ecstasies, right? Ecstasies is, it's a word used to, it's not a drug, it's a word used to describe shedding skin, right? And what it means is it's looking at your current sense of self and who you currently are and your current identity, and releasing that and being more than willing to let go of who you currently are, to shed your skin and step into the skin of someone who is way more capable, and growing into that person. And it's through stepping into that person that you achieve the goal, because that person can easily achieve the thing. So if you snap your fingers one day and you want 10 grand a month, and you snapped your fingers and you woke up and you were in my body, then you'd go and make 10 grand. You'd probably make 10 grand in a day, right? Or in 2 days, right? And then you'd be like, oh, okay, now I need these traits. So that's the point, right? It's not an ego thing from me. I don't want you to become me. Don't just look at me and think, oh, I'm going to be Charlie, because I don't want thousands, hundreds of whatever of me. That would probably not be much fun. You need to develop your own path and your own methodology, and just take this piece of advice and just plug it into your brain and just ponder on it for a while, because like, you might not necessarily understand this in full to begin with, because it's quite a complex term to wrap your head around, because you've been conditioned since birth to believe that you are who you are and you can't change. And that's the most tragic thing that I've ever seen in my fucking life. I hate it, and it really breaks my heart to see people want to achieve more, because a goal is an unconscious manifestation of desire for growth, right? Your unconscious as an entrepreneur, your spirit wants you to develop and grow, but your ego wants to repress that to maintain its current worldview and state in the world. It doesn't want to die, right? And it's through the death of the ego that the birth of the goal is actually accomplished. And so it requires pain and death to accomplish pleasure and growth and birth, right? And you look at childbirth, that's pretty evident. The woman has to go through an excruciating amount of pain to give birth to something she loves. And it's kind of like the same thing with your goal, right? Not that we're going into childbirth, might be a bit of an overextension, but you understand the premise of that argument. You need to go through pain, and most of the pain that you're going to go through is through basically killing your current version. And you're not going to commit suicide, please don't do that, but you need to sort of kill off your identity and current self-image to develop a new one. And then that way it's through a new identity that a new set of actions and decisions are accomplished. And it's through the actions and decisions that you want what you want and get what you want. And so, like, I'll leave you with this in closing. If you know there's something you need to do to achieve your goal, but you can't do it consistently or properly, then there's this ego and self-image thing. And you need to just step into the shoes of being the person that can easily do that thing, or properly do that thing, or consistently do that thing. And if you just try to do the thing that you don't want to do, or aren't good at doing in your current identity, then you'll never do it, and it will always suck. So if you just change the identity to someone that can do it and easily wants to do it, then the thing will be done, and then it'll be easier. So yeah, that's basically this video. And I know it's a bit wacky and a bit wild and a bit out there, but if you want to remove self-doubt, it requires some real good understanding of psychology, which I hope I've been able to give you. So if you like the video, please like it. There's literally a button for that. If you want to add anything or comment, you can just do that in the comment section below, and you can subscribe. Don't turn on the bell notification icon. You've probably got enough distractions in your life. You don't need another notification, so just leave it off. The first link in the description is for agency owners, coaches and consultants. If you can't get more clients, or if you're struggling with your mindset, or want to understand how I help agency owners or coaches and consultants beyond these videos, then by all means just click the first link in the description. There's no course or anything, it's just a video of me explaining how we can help you, so check it out if you want to see that. But yeah, that's everything from me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Cheers.